Okay, Europe at War, in my opinion, the best current mod for the original Company of Heroes. We'll rig into a game and have some fun. Give ourselves some PE. Again, you get some different modifications around. And if I remember here, I'm going to go into another thing that it offers, which is really awesome. So let me just do this. Let's get this party started. We'll go into the command trees, and at least the British, and then you get an idea that each command tree for all the countries has a bit like Blitzkrieg mod, has a very extended group of command tree items that you can explore, and it also has a good degree of different units compared to the standard game. So here we are. It also allows something which I think is awesome, which is this ability to scroll out further than the standard game, and I actually wish every variant of Company of Heroes could do that. Let's get our stuff on the go here. So we have a Bren carrier here, which is not ordinarily available in the standard game. And the Americans have come in a glider class, so they are, because this is based around the shell, so they've done it as an airborne doctrine. And it's one of the interesting things about it is that depending on the map, the mod amends certain things, which is really cool. It actually gives you North African maps which switch the units into units that were around at the time of the North African campaign, so you get some interesting vehicle changes. So it's like you can play multiple versions of the mod and get different units and outcomes depending on the map and the circumstance, which is really cool. Let's have a look at the doctrines now. Royal Artillery support, Royal Commando support, Royal Engineers support. So we're under the Commando tree. Sorry, under the artillery tree we've got supercharge, flares, forward obs, air recon, heat rounds, radio artillery, creeping barrage, strafing run, overwatch artillery, priest, counter battery, bombing run using typhoon, priest, howitzer, tank hunters, aerial overwatch, anti-tank air patrol. The commandos get evasive action, airborne infantry, radio triangulation detection, decoy, strafing run, bombing run, typhoon bombing run, SAS, raid jeeps, ultra decryption, glider-borne commandos, quick capture, expert Bren Mark 1 gunners, Tetrarch tank, true Royal Commandos. So these are Royal Commandos with extra prowess. Glider headquarters. So this is this has a few more options compared to the standard airborne, but it's not so different, I think, than the standard game. The Royal Engineers, emplacement, Churchill Commanders, Churchill Air Recon, Hull Down, Highlanders, Churchill AVRE, Typhoon Incendiary Strike, cost-effective emplacement, improved gunner, Churchill Crocodile, anti-tank air patrol, improved command vehicles, expert commanders, 30th Armoured Corps, and carpet bombing. So I'm getting the feel I like to do some carpet bombing, so let's get into that and see what we can do. So let's see, let's get our secondary truck out, and let's get our third truck out. The Bren carrier can be upgraded as per standard game. the range of the weapon seems moderately extended compared to the standard game. I would say it's a good change. It's not quite like Blitzkrieg mod where it gets completely insane, and also the lethality isn't quite as hefty as it is in the Blitzkrieg mod. I think they got a lot of things right with this mod. You can come over here, Mr. Truck. We'll have a look at what that truck gives us in a moment. So one of the things that's different from the standard game is I get flamethrower sappers here. So the Brits get some flamethrowing sappers, and one of the weird things is in the standard game the Brits are kind of inflexible and unbalanced. So the Americans are well balanced, the Wehrmacht are well balanced, the PE is again a bit inflexible and imbalanced, and the Brits are the same. So they have some abilities and potent stuff, but an example is anti-tank is a weakness for the Brits. They need the Fireflies, or they've got the 17 pounders. 17 pounders are a huge emplacement, can't be put everywhere, they can only be put in certain locations. And they get a decent jump up with the Staghound for a time, but after that then they hit a bit of a problem, and it's all a bit wonky really. So we'll get the captain coming out. So we've got Tommy Squad here, which is a flexible infantry squad. 280 versus the standard infantry squad in the normal game, which is 450. This seems much more sensible. An anti-tank rifle section. So these are only useful against light vehicles and early tanks, really. I guess that they're kind of using the boys' anti-tank gun. And then this is a Brit sniper, so again evening up the Brits into a decent faction where it's more balanced. In here, what do we got? We got the AEC Mark III armoured car, Staghound, M15A1, the M3 T12, a 6-pounder AT gun, and a supply truck. We'll bring a supply truck out. So last truck, let's go and have a look at what the last truck gives us. So it's 4 trucks instead of 3 in the standard game. They've also got, with the infantry units, they can build this heavier Vickers K machine gun. So that allows I think it's got a slightly longer range than the standard machine gun. We've also got this command squad that allows an artillery call-in, which is over standard. What is the range on this? Let's have a look. So this gets to the 3/4 length of the bridge, which is a good range for the machine gun to have. This truck can be upgraded to be in a quad 50 cal, but it can also be used to drop weapons at a cost. So if you want to equip your squads, you can lay down weaponry for a certain price. I'll pull out a few models because of, the fact that they're not in the standard game. I'll bring them out. So what have we got here? We've got the Churchill VCS, which is a 95mm howitzer for infantry support. It doesn't really kill tanks. We've got a Cromwell, We've got the Cromwell command tank. We've got a Crusader. Let's pull one of those. I need more bit more fuel. We've got the Firefly. We've got the Sherman 5, and then we've got a captured Panzer V Cuckoo, a Panzer 5 Cuckoo. So that will be fun to pull out in a little bit. Unusually, the officers in this can't pick up extra weapons, which is a difference from the standard game where they can. So this is talking like it's a Staghound, but it's not. It's an armoured car. Let's have a little look at what they did here. Nice enough. So let's pull out some troops here. So this is the AA version of the American half-track. Let's get it parked up and have it set so it can defend the bridge area. So the infantry squad is a 7-man squad, which is different from standard. And some of the other differences are, let's just check this. Yeah, that's the one difference for the infantry squad. The command squad that can bring in the artillery can call in reinforcements. They can do a 25-pounder barrage, they can do an air recon, or they can do a Typhoon anti-personnel patrol. So flexible artillery support from those guys. The captain can do the Victor target stuff as well. If he's the artillery, I think he can call in strikes as well. Now the sappers, they get quite a bit of differences compared to the standard game. They can do the Vickers K and machine gun nests. They can also do tank traps, which is something I think evens up the game with the standard game. In the standard game, the Brits, whatever reason, they got the ability to have tank traps, just not as part of their doctrine. We get a 17-pounder, a Bofors, and the 25-pounder. So these guys are able to do a fair amount, and they can even lay down the medical building. So they are much more flexible than the standard game and more balanced. The base Tommy squad, which is cheaper if you remember, they're 280. They can't do anything other than they can sprint, which is similar to some of the infantry and other doctrines in the standard game, and they just get the hand grenade. So pretty limited focused infantry thing, similar to other doctrines that exist in the game. What does this guy, I think if you get this artillery, he can be upgraded so he gets the ability to drop artillery if he's on the artillery doctrine. I think that's it really. Let's have a look. We wanted to bring out some of these tanks. Let's bring this guy out, the AA tank, just have a look at the model. Now obviously let's go and have a look and see what some of the, if we can. So these guys are Sherman A4s. And again, each of the doctrines, they do get differences, like the Brits are different in this. American airborne troops. Let's take a look at this AA tank, which is, by the look, yeah, Crusader with an AA equipment. So that's interesting. Set that up here. So the flamethrowing engineers, they get the core abilities but not the extra stuff. They get the tank trapping ability as an extra, and oddly enough they can do mortars. So again, different units give you different flex. Just to check that the infantry can do mortars as well. Yeah, the infantry can do mortars. So the other sappers, the non-flamethrowing sappers, they got a good broad spectrum of things they could do, but I don't think mortars were part of them. Let's just double check that. Yeah, no, they can't do mortars. So it's interesting that you get a good width between the different units. Command vehicle available from Armor Command. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to get that because I'm not the armoured one. But that's fine. I can now bring in the Panther. Let's bring in Cuckoo, which is a captured Panther tank. Let's unleash hell on these guys here. Why not? Let's take a good look at this strike as it comes in. Kaboom! Is it 2 Typhoons or a single Typhoon? It's a single Typhoon. I could bring in the rocket strike. Why don't we do that while I'm waiting? Ah, I just lost sight. Damn. Oh, maybe I'll get some sight back here. Let's do it. Is it 2 planes or is it 1? Let's have a look. It's 1, I think, but it's a brutal strike. And the model is done very beautifully, so give them credit there. The Typhoons are nicely done. I don't know whether they borrowed it from other mods or not, but whoever it came from, it's very nice. So the voice acting still says Cromwell, but come on, Cuckoo, stop blocking our teammate. So let's have a look at this model. They redid it. They did some paint job on this. I don't know why it's got half a tree in it. Anyway, maybe that's part of the model. Yeah, it looks like they added a bunch of branches to the thing. So it's a different model with various changes compared to standard. What's different about the front? Anything? Yeah, they added some branches to the tank, so pretty cool. The medic buildings need to bring in medics if you want to get the full effect from those. So let's bring in, I think you can only have 3 medics at any time. Yeah, so all of that. We'll check the range out on this piece of kit. And let's keep on bringing some troop. I'm going to upgrade this so that it becomes like an AA unit. Just checking for upgrades here on the different units. Pretty much standard stuff. The sniper can go camouflage. He also gets a chance to sprint. I think if you go camouflage, you can then do the same hold fire, which is standard across most ordinary snipers in the game. And we don't want the Germans advancing too far against us here. Let's bring in a strike and watch that closely. Wow. Just wow. Nice. Such a bunch of kills there. They don't have a kangaroo, and I can't remember if you can tweak it so that you get kangaroos. You might be able to. I can't remember whether pre-game you can tweak the armed units so that they may be a bit different. I like the kangaroos. The kangaroos, pre being nobbled, I think they were like 30% faster and 20% more heavily armed, and at that point they were as good as anything in the game, oddly enough. But Relic decided, no, we can't have that, because you used to be able to go with like 6 kangaroos against 6 panthers and you'd win. It's things like that. So they decided to even that stuff up. Right, what do we need for this? We need 300 for the carpet bomb, which I do want to show. And of course I'm only showing one nation here. There are, 4 different nations, and they all have decent differences compared to the standard game. Yeah, some of the animations are beautiful that they've put together. But anyway. Another thing about the Europe at War mod is that many of the artillery pieces use ammunition to use their special abilities. So I think it lets you go up to 600 and then no more. So you can carry out offensives, but you don't get to do game-winning artillery stuff. Like, you can't just keep pounding away. You do run out of ammo. Which means there's a bit of balance. You can't just go arty crazy like in, to some degree, the standard game. You got to use it with a bit more care. What is this? This is a 30th Armour Corps. Let's bring them out and let them unleash themselves. Let's have a look at what we get. We get a Cromwell, a Sherman Firefly, another Firefly, and an infantry unit in a half track with a machine gun. Nice. Now, just to show this, I will show off the carpet bombing. Oh, I need 300, so I won't do just that just yet. We'll wait a bit. So this is a little bit like Blitzkrieg. This has a good long range right the way across the bridge. Its fire rate is not particularly high, but it's good enough. Right, now just to show off this crazy carpet bombing. If you watch the map, you'll see all the Halifaxes rolling in. They take a moment, he says boldly. I guess they got to fly from England, right? So the first plane comes in, and then there's a second plane, and basically it reminds me of God of War from Eastern Front, which used to be a crazy German scenario. So the bombing just is heavy bombing, some of the most heavy in the game, but it does cost 300, so, and it takes an age to recover. So this will be, what would it be, 500 seconds maybe before you're allowed to use it again. But you've only got 300 you've only got 600 allowed in your whole ammo, so even if it was immediate, you could only use it twice before you exhausted all of your ammunition. So anyway, so this could run on and on and on. Lots of variety in the game, a lot of fun to be had, and it plays very well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just show the one thing that is a real decent extra in this thing, which is they created a thing called Joint Ops, and Joint Ops is like a mission-based single player or multiplayer. Let's see, resistance, survival. Do they have a 2v2? Let me just check this. Joint Ops, defend the town, King of the Hill. Okay, I've not played this one, but anyway, we'll do it we'll do it. You go down to custom mission and you say fixed, and you go a high resource and you say Brits, and you do map info, and it tells you slot 1, slot 2 player, custom mission, used fixed positions, help and tips, COH, jointoperations.com. So, let me double check that again. Slot 1 CPU, player 2. Okay, so I'll move here. Move to this slot, and then set an expert CPU. So what it then does is, and the missions vary. Some of them are survival, some of them are other missions. But in essence, what it does, it sets up a tactical game where you play against the CPU. One of them is D-Day, where you play the Germans trying to stop the Allies. You have to play for an hour and survive for an hour. Another one is survival, where you have to hold on against ever-increasing waves. And you can't win, it's just a case of how many waves can you survive. This old Kettenkrad's getting hammered. So we'll take a look here at what does this game want us to do? What is the aim of the game? We are on a hilltop fort of some kind. And our job... Okay, so we've got to keep the command alive for 44 minutes. And that is the mission. So we got how many men do we got these guys here. Let's get some... not the artillery. God damn it. God dang it. Lots of weapons to pick up and run with. But the artillery and stuff will be raining down on us, I have no doubt. So let's see, I got some airborne troops here. Gonna equip them with these weapons. I got a sniper here, let's hide him. We have retrieved a weapon! Yes. Okay, you guys keep building. You guys get over here. There come the enemy. Get in there. And you guys get on that machine gun there. I want troops, and lots of them. I always think that's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. What do you want? I lost my sniper there, even though he was hidden. So I have to keep this... Control these key locations to receive reinforcements from time to time. So, there, it's giving us a mini mission of what we need to do. Gonna replenish this squad. I'm gonna elevate my infantry. Seems sensible. I need 200 for that. Give me. Okay, get on that. Okay. Don't think that's a Yankee weapon. Anyway. kill the enemy commander. So I've got to somehow kill this guy. Let's see, what can I choose here? I can choose, I like defensive doctrine. This gives us a chance to look at the Germans. I should have took a bit more time there, shouldn't I, really? But anyway. Get your guns. Ah, here come my reinforcements. Right, so you guys get on there. You guys get on that AT gun. Give me some more men. And try to kill. I have to wait. Get some weapons. And get in there. Right, let's see if we can kill this guy. Kill these guys. Get in there and kill them. Oh, a glider. What kind of crap is this going on? SAS are there. Okay. Anyway, I won't overly play it, but it gives you an idea of what you're up against here, which is just an ever-increasing set of assaults where you've got to do the best you can to survive. Ouch. Screw it. How far can I go here with my tank? Let's see. Maybe I should have used this Panther a bit more early on. Maybe they have a lack of AT initially. Anyway, often you will have to spend a lot of time figuring out how to best play the mission and then do the best you can from there. That's an interesting resizing of that Hotchkiss down to smaller than a Bren carrier. That's a bit weird. But anyway. So, there are, let's just have a look. If I return to main menu, let's check out the number of joint ops that you get a shot at doing. So, you get 2 joint ops, single player. You get 5 that are 2 player. And you get 1 that is 3v3. I don't think there is a 4v4. I don't think there is a 4v4, no. Joint op, but you can play that with your friends against CPU, and they are not a standard game. They add something extra that, had they added that in the original Company of Heroes, would have taken it to a whole different level. And in some ways I wish that these guys would continue to add more joint ops missions, because they're well, I think they're awesome. That's the main thing. So that's where we're at. It's an excellent mod. You should try it out and add it in and give it a whirl. No hesitation on that. Currently, in my humble opinion, the best mod.